I love that. And if we just would try to have a little talk with Jesus, our lives would change. I believe that. Sometimes, though, we get so bound up in ourselves that we forget the power of God to bring change and freedom and reconciliation in our lives. Can you identify with that this morning, church? Yeah, I'm sure you can. Let's be honest. Right? I see y'all during the week. Come on. Right? Let's get real. When I first came here 2.5 years ago, Margaret sung the most amazing song, and it continues to fill my heart with joy because she sings about that great getting up morning, right? And so I've asked her to start the sermon time today by singing that song for us because I think that we don't have to wait for that great getting up morning to have a relationship with God, for God to change our reality, for God to give us the many gifts of love and grace that are available to us. So Margaret, lead us and begin to bring the message of God in song. Welcome, Margaret and the Spirits of Joy. So in that great getting up morning, what will happen? Fare thee well, fare thee well. What happens is that we have an intimate relationship, an intimate encounter with God. And that is what changes us, right? The text this morning is Luke 6. I love this text. I said that last week. I love that one too. But I think I love this one even more. Because Luke is setting up the story of Jesus' Sermon on the Mount. We often refer to that. But in Luke's gospel, unlike Matthew's gospel, Luke doesn't have Jesus on a mountaintop. Right? He doesn't have Jesus just interacting with the disciples. Luke portrays a Jesus where he's on a level plain. He comes down from the mountain. And why is that important? Because the people are on the level plain. So what Luke gives us is an image of Jesus as much as is possible. That Jesus is a person of the people. And I'm here to tell you, I believe that Jesus is for all the people. Because the text tells us that people came from all around. All around. They came from the coastal regions of Tyre and Sidon. That means they had to travel. And why would people do that? Because the word had gotten out that this Jesus character had a message from God that people desperately needed to hear. And not only were they desperate to hear that message, guess what? They wanted to hear that message because their lives needed to be changed, right? In their own strength, they probably got themselves into a little trouble. You know, kind of like the trouble I get myself into, right? Talking about integrity. Talking about how we need to stand against systems that would seek to oppress others, right? We need to dismantle each and every one of those systems, right? So Jesus was doing exactly the same thing. Now, I don't want you to walk away saying, oh, the pastor was a little bit arrogant this morning comparing himself to Jesus. What I'm saying to you is each and every one of you should compare yourself to Jesus and let Jesus lead you in doing the things that God has called you to do. And I believe that God has called each and every one of us to experience the wholeness that comes from a relationship with Jesus. So Luke portrays Jesus as a person who is among the people. Luke portrays a Jesus similar to all the other gospel writers, that Jesus is all about meeting needs. Jesus came to meet each and every need that we have. Needs that they had then and needs that we have today. That's why there's no more crying there. That's why there's no more of all the other things that we go through that bring us to our level of brokenness that we experience. No need for there. Can you imagine a day that we wake up every day and we commit ourselves to be used by God in new ways, ways that call us to experience God's grace, ways that call us to believe in God's love and grace for somebody else, that we do everything that we can to be a blessing to somebody. But do you know what I know about all of that? We cannot give away a gift we do not have. We can fake it until we make it, right? But we cannot give away a gift that we do not have. And so I believe that we need to get to a place where we know that we are part of the crowd in this text. That we can claim that we are people that want to hear a good message, a new message from God. That we present ourselves to be healed by God. Knowing that Jesus knows our need. And not one of our needs will be unmet. Now, there's quite a difference between what we need and what we want. Now, you know, I'm one of those characters that wants a lot of things, right? And I have had to learn that even though I want them, it's not like going to be immediate. It's not going to be right now, right? Some things are, most things are not. But what I know is that God gives us the grace for each and every one of our desires and needs to be met. Because there is nothing wrong with desiring more out of this life, as long as we're willing to do the work. And that's where sometimes we can get a little off base, a little twisted, because we want that relationship, but we're not willing to do the work to appreciate the relationship. We're not willing to do the work to be able to love someone as much as we love ourselves, right? Or we want that job that's going to pay us a big salary and give us meaning, blah, 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 blah. Without doing what it takes to present ourselves to be used in any job, knowing that it's not the job that will give us our needs, but the satisfaction of knowing that we have done our best and claiming that in God we will bring blessing and change for people. That is when the salary will mean something to you, and that is when you will see the gifts of God more fully in your life. It's not about a paycheck. It's about knowing that you are healed up from the inside out and available to be used by God. Right? Or perhaps you might not believe that God can handle the illness or the brokenness or the pain that you're now facing. And when you look at it that way, who are we to say that God is not big enough to bless our lives? Hold on now. This is where we're going to do a little bit of meddling, right? Can we believe like those people that gathered on the plain that day to hear a word from God through Jesus and to experience the power that Jesus brought to them? Can we really, really believe that that same power is available to us? Available to us just the way we are. Lock, stock, and barrel. And when you get right down to it, when we can admit our own brokenness, our own prison that we have built for ourselves, that's the beginning of hearing a good news message from God. That's the beginning of being real with yourself so that you can trust being real with God. But so often that kind of vulnerability is uncomfortable. It brings a different level of accountability, and it's just something that we don't want to face. But then, oftentimes, God brings us to a place where we just can't stand the pain any longer. We just can't stand the pattern of one relationship after the other not working out. We can't stand the pattern of being called on by our colleagues or our friends about our behavior. We tend to be people who really think, I believe, that God is not all-powerful to change the reality of our life. And yet God invites us to a place of openness and freedom. And so often God uses us to bring that freedom to ourselves by partnering with us in ways that we never imagined. And why do I believe that? Why do I believe that for you? Because it has happened for me. Right? I have not always been this together. I've told you before, I didn't know I could be this gay. But in realizing the gifts that God has given to me, my life has been transformed. And because my life has been transformed, there is nothing that you could tell me that would bring me to a place of believing that God cannot do the same good works within your lives, right? But I'm here to tell you the other thing is it has taken years for me to be this together. Years. And the only truth that I know is that I have to get up each and every day and try to stop the noise in my own brain long enough to hear a message from God. I need to get up each and every day and realize that if I'm going to go and do things in my strength and the way I think they need to be done, without checking with God first, that I'm in trouble. Right? You get what I'm saying? I'm in trouble. Because I need that confidence, that reminder that I need God's help. Sometimes, minute by minute. To be remembered that God is doing good works in and through me. Not so much because I'm such a wonderful person. You can argue with me about that. Not because I'm so wonderful, but that God in me is complete and full and joy. And I'm here to tell you the same is true for you. So the people in Luke's story experienced power from God through the life and ministry of Jesus. Jesus met just not physical needs. Jesus, I believe, met emotional needs. Jesus met relationship needs. And Jesus met spiritual needs. And so, church, what is it that you need from God today? What is it that you need as individuals to allow yourselves to live in the freedom that God's love will bring to your life? What is it that you have believed for so long that you cannot let come up for you, that you cannot speak truth to? What brokenness is so painful that it has held you back? This morning, we're going to have opportunity to be able to deal with those things. We're going to have an opportunity to begin the healing process just as it was in Luke's gospel. This morning in your bulletin, you should have received a blank piece of paper. It looks like this. If you didn't, we'll get you one. On this piece of paper, I would invite you to write whatever it is that is holding you back. Whatever it is that you need healing from. Whatever it is. Write it down. And I would ask you to take the risk of then taking this paper and coming over to the table and dropping it in this God box. I would ask you, can you give this concern to God this morning? And as you do, light a candle. And imagine that the light from this candle is God's healing strength to bring light into your darkness. Light to the things that are holding you back from experiencing more fully the grace and the love of God. Maybe you don't want to put anything in the God box. Maybe you just want to sit and write and be angry with God. That's totally okay. The goal here this morning is for you to get what you need from God. Right? I've also asked Reverend Martha and Reverend Shara and Evangelist Cheesy to lay hands on people, to be amongst people in the sanctuary, and you can go to them. If you need healing, they will pray for you. And whatever you ask them to pray for, and they will forget as they leave this place what those prayers are, so that you can be freed up to experience the healing that God gives for you. Or perhaps What you need from God is to simply sit where you are and to be able to have a conversation with somebody that is special to you. Maybe you need to begin the healing process by making amends for something, or by saying, I'm sorry to someone, or by simply telling someone a struggle that you're having and let them love up on you. Because that is yet another way that we experience healing and the love from God. Whatever you need, will you please invite God to heal you from the inside out, and so that this brokenness, this pain can go away, and you will see God transform your life. And as we transform our lives, God transforms our lives. We will not be able to hold that message to ourselves, and that is how we will transform the world. And I believe this world needs a lot of transforming. But it begins by us taking the responsibility to depend on God to transform our lives first. Amen? Amen. So we're going to sing now. And you can get whatever you need. Put something in the God box. Have a conversation with a friend. Reverend Cheryl Cheesy and Reverend Martha will be at the back of the sanctuary for healing prayers. Let's get busy and let's experience God together.